Yeah.
It's 317.
Oh my.
Try and go for a surf and get completely shut down? That's what just happened to me. I woke up this morning, so excited, got out of bed, coffee in the system, boom, activation to surf. And then look at the waves. Ocean was horribly flat. Since the ocean was so horribly flat, it actually gave me the idea that, hey, I want to switch the content up a little bit this week and do a little bit of a different video. Something that maybe I can give you guys some value on, or at least something you'll find interesting, entertaining, whatever. It's still gonna be a vlog, but it's a different style vlog than I normally do. The concept is, how much does it actually cost to live in Hawaii? And I figured I was a pretty good subject to talk about this because for many of us, Hawaii has been home forever. For some, it's just a dream. And for others like myself, it's a newfound reality. I moved here 3 years ago after I started working for Jamie O'Brien, for those of you that don't know. And ever since then, it's had my heart and soul and I keep coming back. But I moved from the mainland. I moved from Oregon, and Oregon is much like many of the other states in the US. It's a lot, first of all, a lot cheaper than Hawaii. But just how much cheaper is really what I want to break down in this video. The way I'm going to structure the cost and that price differential in this video is by the cost of living. And the cost of living are your obvious food, gas and transportation, and lastly, housing. Perfect timing, and another reason I made this episode is because I'm in dire need of groceries. And we're gonna put this to the test. Groceries here on the North Shore, at the Foodland on the North Shore, are absolutely ridiculously expensive. The Foodland in North Shore is probably the most expensive grocery store on the whole damn island, and unfortunately it's the only one nearby, so it's the only one I go to. But today, I wanna switch it up and go to the Disneyland of grocery stores, which is also probably the cheapest grocery store on the island. Start things off with groceries, we'll come back, we'll break it down, we'll compare it to mainland prices, then we'll move on to housing, and we'll move on to transportation and gas. First things first, the Disneyland of grocery stores. Any guesses where that might be? I gotta go jump in Mia's car. She's giving me a ride.
It's like we found the freaking gold at the end of the rainbow.
All right, well, we just made it to stop number 1, which is test number 1, which is groceries. And I figured there was no better spot to test groceries than that of the cheapest possible place you can get groceries in Hawaii, which is Costco. We're gonna load her up.
Give it up to me, baby. You got to give it up. Won't you give me your sweet love? Give me that love.
I think I most definitely just found the best deal in Costco. 48 pack of Pop-Tarts for $8. I will not be eating these in a quick motion, but a long one.
They'll be gone in a week.
No, they won't. First of all, play the clip of me guessing the price at how much those groceries cost.
How much do you think it's gonna be?
300.
300?
Any big bag?
I think 287.
287. You hear me say that? Well, look at this. It says 317.25 right there. But guess what? $30 of these groceries were Forest groceries. 317 minus 30, 287 on the dot. How freaking weird is that? Back to the main point of conversation. $287. I don't think I've ever spent near that much on groceries, but I think it's gonna last me for like a month. But you always say that when you get groceries and then really they're gone within like a week. If I was to buy that same amount at Foodland on the North Shore, that would have cost probably $600+. So there, for one, is a massive, massive price difference between the grocery stores that you choose to shop in Hawaii. Costco, by far the best place to save. on island, I would say North Shore Foodland, probably the worst place to save, and all the other ones in between, pretty darn steep. I went back to Oregon for the summer and I paid attention to a lot of the costs of groceries back while I was home. Everything in Oregon was about 25% cheaper. On average, you're looking at to save 25% of your total cost when you do a grocery shop in Oregon. So for example, if I was to spend this and get the same amount of food at Costco in Oregon, I would say it would just cost 25% cheaper on average. So my conclusion on the groceries is if you can shop smart, if you can go to places like Costco, if you buy your own food, it's gonna save you a lot of money. Eating out here is really expensive, especially at the restaurants on the North Shore. Me and Mia got a meal that same day. I believe it was $15 each. It wasn't anything super fancy. It was pretty good, but nothing crazy. We're looking at 2 burgers, 15 bucks each. That's $30 for a plate. That's pretty expensive. Moving on to the next topic of conversation would be housing. You gotta choose where you're gonna live, wherever it is you're gonna live. And housing in Hawaii is probably, to me, where I would say they take the steepest amount of cash flow. It's insane how much more money it is to live in a place that's just decent compared to a really nice place in the mainland. What I mean by this is that we're in this house here on the North Shore, and it's not that nice. It's nothing crazy. We only have the top shelf of the house too. We only have the top floor. It's a 4-bedroom house, a shared kitchen, a shared living room, 2 bathrooms. Will and Charlie have to share a room, and Forrest and Caden have to cuddle together in the freaking queen bed. And it's costing us $7,000 freaking dollars a month. That's insane. Each of us are paying like $1,400 a month or something to live here. We signed a 3-month lease because that's all we could afford of the place, and in December we're not even staying for all of December. We are getting prorated for the amount of time we're staying because that's all we can afford. It's just simply too much money to live on the North Shore. But that being said, there are cheaper options if you look at, for example, Honolulu's much more affordable, more on par with the prices you'd find in the mainland. However, still a bit steeper. Premier destinations like the east side of Oahu, Kaneohe, Kailua, and the North Shore of Oahu, you're looking at an incredible price difference between the homes in Honolulu. If I was to be spending $7,000 a month on a house where I went to college at in Bozeman, Montana, I would probably have the sickest freaking mansion in the entire city of Bozeman. This place was the cheapest place we could find, period, on the North Shore. That's mind-blowing. If you do some diggings, you can find some pretty good deals, but in general, if you're looking at the North Shore of Oahu, you're looking at a minimum of about $3,400, $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom house. To break that down even further, you're looking at about at least paying a minimum of $1,000 a month per person. Next topic, transportation and gas. For gas prices, the average gas price in Hawaii is $4.30 a gallon, comparably to Oregon's average gas price, which is $3.70 a gallon. That gas price comparison is a little over 25%. So what I'm seeing here, and that direct relation to the 25% rule, kind of stands true across the board in Hawaii, in my opinion. Pretty much everything you're looking at is just about 25% more expensive than everything in the mainland. Other than the gas, you got transportation. Transportation really doesn't differ too much from that of the mainland. You can go on Craigslist, you can find good deals. When I used to work for Jamie, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember the Psychmobile. That thing was sick. It did me great. It did me great for a year and a half. The radiator blew at one point, but we got that fixed, and then after we got that fixed, there was no worries at all. Whoa! Moved back here now for round number 3, and we bought ourselves an $1,800 minivan split by 6 people. That's 300 people each, and we just blew the freaking coolant hose, but it's got 24 karat gold rimmed wheels on it because we spray painted them. And other than that, it works flawlessly. You can ship your car over from the mainland for, I believe, $3,000 each way. $3,000 to get it here, $3,000 to get it back, so you got a lot of options when it comes to getting cars and shipping cars and etc, etc. Now I want to answer a question that I get asked a lot and that my crew get asked a lot, the sickos, which is how are we making this happen as broke 20-year-olds? And And the answer is simple. No, we don't have rich parents. No, we're not getting sent an allowance weekly. No, we're not freaking freeloading off of friends. We're making it happen ourselves, and you can do it too. We live in a day and age where we have something called the internet. The internet provides jobs from anywhere in the freaking world, as long as you have a laptop and as long as you have the determination and intention to figure it out. I taught myself filmmaking. I dropped out of college and I taught myself filmmaking by watching endless hours of YouTube. And you can do the same thing with any sort of profession or task you want. Charlie just learned how to design websites by watching YouTube videos and getting handy with Photoshop and Lightroom and all sorts of things. Will's doing the same thing. Caden is a filmmaker and editor. These jobs don't require us to be in certain, office spaces or stations somewhere in the world. We can do them from anywhere. For myself personally, I've been filmmaking for a long time, so I've been able to build a portfolio, to build a brand that I now have consistent freelance work coming in. On top of that, I have my full-time YouTube channel with my sponsors that helps bring me money. So my personal situation is a little bit different than these other guys. These other guys are working pretty full-time on Siggos, but Siggos is a small underground channel that's not really bringing in much money yet, especially not enough to live in a place like Hawaii. So to make the hustle happen, these guys are 24/7 every single morning, cold calling people, trying to build websites. They're just hustling. They're doing whatever they possibly can to do work and get an income coming in. Will cleans windows on the freaking side. You can do anything. Just make enough money to live and it's all good. That's our mindset because we're young 20-year-olds. If we had, a wife and kids and was in a little bit of a different situation where we weren't in our young 20s to go out and risk and try these things, it would be a little different. But since we are young, since we believe in this project we got going on, we can kind of take this risk and go for it and honestly have a couple months where you're just scraping by because it's all good. All we really need right now is for this potential business to blow up. And if it does, we're gonna be really, really happy. If it doesn't, it's gonna be one hell of a ride trying. So guys, my happy ending with this video and really where I'm driving with it is to hopefully inspire you to chase that dream, whatever it may be. Whether it's moving to Hawaii, whether it's getting into that college you've always dreamed of, living abroad somewhere, whatever it is, just know that it's possible. If a bunch of 20-year-olds can live in Hawaii, you can do whatever it is you want. Just remember that with a little bit of intention and determination to do, anything is possible. Thank you for watching this week's video. I really hope you got some value from it. And remember, I will see you next Friday.